The Local Show, sponsored by Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement, on News Radio 570 WSYR, on 106.9 FM, and live everywhere on the iHeartRadio app. The Local Show features in-depth conversation with business owners, employees, and influential business leaders throughout Central New York, exploring their successes, challenges, and reasons for doing business right here in our growing community. The Local Show is produced locally by Zoe Advertising. Now your hosts, Tom and Steve.
Welcome back and welcome in. So, when I was not here and you took the reins, which you sound like a real professional.
Here it comes.
Who doesn't know what he's doing.
Here it goes.
You said it, you must have said 4 or 5 times. Tom says, welcome back, welcome back. I do not say welcome back.
Do?
No, I don't.
Okay.
What I say is welcome back, welcome in. That's it.
Okay. So it's not like welcome back, Cotter.
Right. I say welcome back and then welcome in.
To that same old place you laughed about, Tom.
But the welcome back, Cotter thing is good. My father looked just like Gabe Kaplan.
Yeah,
really? He looked just like him.
Great show.
Yeah, it was.
No kidding.
John Travolta. Come on, that was like crazy. Vinny Barbarino.
Back then, froze were in.
Oh, sure.
You remember we went through that whole period where you would get.
Is that Freddie Boom Boom Washington? Wasn't he there?
Yeah, that's right. He was there.
Arnold Horshack.
All of them.
Horshack.
But my father had the mustache and that, and he was a teacher, and he looked just like Gabe Kaplan.
That was a great show. That's when shows were great.
Yeah, they were a lot of sitcoms.
Whose voice is that, Tom?
Juan Epstein, remember him too? He had a fro. Juan Epstein, he was on there.
Oh yeah,
I don't remember.
Horshack just died in the last year.
Oh, did he?
That's too
Was it
bad.
Ron Marino or something
like that?
Yeah, you know the people. Dr. Mark Pietropaoli is with us. See, he's a normal guy, folks. He watches TV and all that stuff. He's the owner of Victory in Motion, home of knee repair, not knee replacement. Where did you do your undergrad work?
I went to Syracuse University.
Oh, you were at
Bleed
Syracuse.
Orange, yes.
Yeah.
And I went to medical school in Syracuse, and I did my orthopedic residency. So I was 13 years in Syracuse, and I'm from Rochester originally. And then I spent a year in Birmingham, Alabama, doing my sports medicine fellowship with Dr. Andrews, the greatest sports medicine doctor.
Is that the University of Alabama or
nope?
No,
just they do cover the University of Alabama. They also cover Auburn, which is interesting. How great is a doctor if 2 bitter rivals literally want you to be their team doctor for the?
That's fair.
That's pretty amazing.
Well, because my niece had gone for pre-med and in Alabama, but I don't know whether it was Alabama University,
Right.
whichever one is good for doctoring.
Yeah. Well, UAB is another one. University of Alabama, Birmingham is in Birmingham, and then University of Alabama is in Tuscaloosa, and then Auburn is in Auburn.
I remember way back when I had an opportunity to go do radio in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah.
But when I was like in my early 20s, and I thought, I'm not going to any place called Tuscaloosa.
It's growing. I mean, Birmingham it's grown a lot even since I was there, late 90s, early 2000s. But if you go outside of Birmingham, then I always would say we live near Canada, right? Going to another country in Canada, going out of Birmingham into the sticks,
like another country.
Totally different country.
Were you tempted to stay down there? I mean, did you always end up
I
coming
was
back?
asked to stay down there, but my wife and I are both from Rochester, and we wanted to come back here. But I was asked to stay down there, and a couple guys the year after me stayed down there, Dr. Lyle Kane and Dr. Jeff Dugas, tremendous, and they have kind of taken over the show, they're amazing.
So from the time you were in college, did you always have the intention of being a surgeon?
From very young age, I wanted to be a sports medicine doctor. So I told my uncle that. My Uncle John was a doctor, the original Dr. Pietropaoli, and he said, well, if you're going to be a sports medicine doctor, you have to be an orthopedic surgeon. And so that's how I knew I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon.
Right.
And I knew that. I mean, I wanted to be a fighter pilot, a rock star, or an orthopedic surgeon, like throughout middle school and high school.
Yeah.
And my eyes weren't good enough at that time to be a fighter pilot. And my parents would have killed me if I was a Keith Moon drummer. I'd probably be dead myself.
Right.
And so I had to settle for sports medicine.
Yeah. So when you started doing surgeries, how old were you then? What part of
He was
college?
like Dookie Howser. He was 14 years old. He's cutting a knee off.
Yeah, I mean, when I started cleaning fish and gutting animals and things like that.
No,
like,
actual humans.
Humans. Okay, so I was, let's see here, probably my third year of medical school. I think my fourth year of medical school is when I was allowed to make my first incision. So
do you remember it?
I was probably, oh yeah, I remember it. So I was 24. Yeah. I was on this general surgery rotation because you rotate through all the different specialties. I was on general surgery. Dr. Schwartz, remember the doctor, vascular doctor, and somebody had an aneurysm of their radial artery at the wrist here, a swelling of their artery.
Yes.
And so we had to go in there and take that out and reconnect it. So he said, knife, and then he looked at me and the scrub tech gave me the knife and I made the incision, and then he said, okay, now you can make the incision. So I literally just basically scratched the surface. I was so scared. I was so scared to cut through the skin. So I remember that like it was yesterday, of course.
That's something else.
You absolutely remember that stuff.
So when you got into surgery and you were doing that for a little while, when did you have the epiphany that maybe there's a better way to do this?
Oh, well, that's another great question. So literally, again, my third year of medical school, I was starting my rotation in orthopedics, which was the last rotation of that year. I set it up that way on purpose because I knew I wanted to go into orthopedics, but I wanted to check everything else out first and see if I really did like it.
Right.
So it's my first day of my third year of my first day of my orthopedic rotation in my, if I can speak English here, I get excited, in my third year of medical school. And Dr. Murray, who invented knee replacements, he's one of the original inventors of knee replacement, he's going to be doing a surgery, teaching a chief resident how to do a knee replacement. So the junior resident says, oh, come on in the room, you're not going to scrub in, but you can stand in the corner, don't touch anything, but you can ask a question. There's no such thing as a dumb question, the famous medical school
Was this
thing.
At Upstate?
This is Upstate.
Okay,
Upstate Medical University, May of 1991. Right. I tell this story all the time. Yeah. So I go in there and I'm standing in the corner and Dr. Murray comes in and they start sawing with like power saws, really loud, like power saws, like dental drills and, drills and cutting huge chunks of bone and cartilage out and putting metal and plastic in. And I'm like, wow, this is amazing. Like my dad taught me how to use power tools. He did construction when he was putting himself through school. So I know how to do this stuff. I can do it on a human. And then I was like, wait a minute, this is kind of gross. And actually it's kind of barbaric too. Who would have ever thought cut huge chunks of bone out, put metal and plastic and cement in there, right? And so I remember what the resident said. He said, you can ask a question. So I raised my hand and he looked at me and was like, oh, this guy's actually going to ask a question. And the chief resident glared at me and the nurses glared at me and the anesthesiologist's eyes opened wide and no one said anything. So I start to lower my hand. Then Dr. Murray looks over his spectacles. He's like, Mark, you have a question? I'm like, yeah. Thank you very much for letting me be here and see this is amazing. But my question is, can we cure arthritis? Can we grow back cartilage? Is there any way to repair a knee and not replace it? And before Dr. Murray could say anything, the chief resident pointed at me and said, no, there's no way to grow back new cartilage, cure arthritis, or repair knees and not replace them. So that's when I got my first inkling. I'm going to prove this guy wrong and figure out someday how to repair a knee and not replace it. And that was 34 years ago.
Well, that's a heavy duty story.
Yeah.
I tell that story tell that story all the time, and I told it in my live seminar yesterday at our office.
There we go.
In Skinny Atlas, and so you can now that blew it though. Anybody who watches we have a live online webinar next Tuesday. The in-office part is sold out, but people can sign up, go to our website, or call our office 685-7544. And but I will tell that story because that's how I got into this.
So let's hear more maybe after the break. So if you've been told that maybe you need a knee replacement, you're a great second opinion. There's other ways to potentially do it here. So that 685-7544 number, they can call and set up a time to have a conversation or whatever it is.
Definitely.
So Mark Pietropaoli, Victory in Motion, come on back after the break and we'll hear more disgusting things about surgery.